of gray skies and electric light. My most recent MYFAROG campaign using the coming rule set. So it's been a little while. I had another baby like over the over the last month, and a couple of other things that prevented us from getting together. But we're gonna try and keep the ball rolling here. So bear with me if I am a bit extra rusty on my myth mastering skills and about the details of the previous session, which I'm going to recap now. So, in the last session, we followed the escapades of Soleil Greiser, who is Trent's character. He's not here today. Ronald Springs and Horace. I don't think Horace has a last name, if I'm remembering correctly. But
He does not.
that's okay. So the three of them are members of the police in the city named Unity City, in this futuristic hellhole that is popped up after a great revolution. And in the previous session, they were on their way to conduct to execute a search warrant on a pair of drug kingpins, and they were expecting a fairly uneventful, arrest, but that was not the case, as Soleil was injured when one of said kingpins pulled a gun on her and put a couple of bullets into her chest, which were absorbed by her body armor, but was quickly subdued by, I believe it was Horace, who incapacitated him. And the other one appeared to have escaped out a back window, which a fellow officer, an NPC whose name escapes me at the moment, he intercepted him as he tried to escape. Now as they were trying to put said escapee into the back of one of their patrol cars, somebody came up behind said officer and shot him dead, put two bullets in the back of his head. And I think it was Ronald Springs who put a quick end to him. The party then followed the fleeing man on foot. He tried to escape in a getaway vehicle, but was very quickly, those plans were very quickly dashed when the getaway driver was shot dead, and the other man was taken into custody. They were arrived there, they found their commander, Mr. Chris Strickland. They're waiting for them, and once they had all arrived, he had informed them that all three of them were being promoted to the conspirator and dissident department of the police force, referred to as the CDD. That's the acronym, of course. And that the intent was that once Soleil would have healed, that they would be all reporting to their new roles in the police force. That's how I think it happened. There's probably a couple details that I might have missed, but that's I apologize. It's been a little over a month. So now we have Lubin joining us for this one, so I'm gonna have him introduce his character. So go ahead, Lubin, whenever you're ready.
Okay, so I made a character and I named him Hector Keegan. But he isn't a civilian. His social kind of role and tasks were to do with enforcing whatever his commanders, as he is a military man, demanded from him to do. And he was involved in a few conflicts with supposed enemies, remaining scattered, faraway enemies of the regime. But since he completed that, he came back to live a life as a normal person, and decided to join the police, but to work with the newest equipment possible. And he was given a mech to use, which is quite experimental, but he's grown to like it quite a lot, and he is very, very eager to see the destructive potential of this type of invention, as he definitely loves carnage and wants to annihilate. So that's a part of who he is. Very war-loving and bloodthirsty individual. He's quite tall, a little bit taller than the average person. 183 centimeters of height, and quite lean. He's not, very round. He's not slim. He's right in the middle. He's like a lean person, toned but not very muscular, and he is a formidable foe that anybody would think that if they were to face him. So that's him at a first, kind of cursory glance, his appearance. And I already kind of said what his background was. So more will be revealed as we play, but that's for now all I have to say about him.
Okay. Very nice. Now, just to kind of get moving up to speed, I'm gonna have you two kind of briefly reintroduce your characters, just so that he gets an idea of like what your characters are all about. And I'll probably do the same whenever Trent, like in the next session that Trent is available.
Yeah, no worries. That makes sense. So my character is Ronald Springs. He's also with the Unity police force. He was more so kind of a nerdy guy, dealt with a lot of the programming and computer sides of, I guess, the tech world growing up. But eventually he got commandeered by the police force to help with their programming unit. But again, starting at the bottom, he was just a basic police officer. So besides just being kind of like the hacker-esque kind of personality, he's just got glasses, short black hair, kind of a chubby face, kind of is awkward. But yeah, he's generally a nice guy. So you've, I guess, just recently met him when he was transferred to. I guess you had been working at the new place. So that's Ronald.
All right, my character is Horace. He, in terms of his appearance, is sort of just average looking. He's not very tall, but of average height, average weight. And really physically, he doesn't stand out much in terms of his capabilities, but he does have a silver tongue. So every time he goes into some sort of operation, he does his best to try and use his words. But if all else fails, of course, that's the gist of him.
Okay. So we're going to just start out with Mr. Ronald Springs and Horace, and Hector will join the party in a little bit. So all of you have kind of per the rules of the land. Everybody is, for the most part, entitled to some sort of housing. It's really the city is basically just a lot of obviously commercial buildings, but a lot of them are just kind of like subsidized, like apartment complexes or flats, if you will, that are very very brutalist or utilitarian, much like the sort of apartment complex you'd see all across like the former Soviet Union, but a bit more modern and accommodating. It's not much. You have a fairly, affordable rent. Had it written down somewhere. Thought I had it written down somewhere. But anyway, you all just have like a very bare bones apartment. It pretty much looks the same as literally everybody else's, but it's a house, it's a place to sleep, and that's essentially all it's good for. So as you wake up, you both get calls from your commander, Commander Strickland, informing you that there's that Soleil will not be joining you right away. supposed to be your orientation and onboarding for your roles in the Conspirators and Dissidents Department, but he informs you Soleil will not be joining you. The doctors had discovered some other sort of health problem. He doesn't really go into specifics, but they're gonna have the doctors are gonna have to keep Soleil in the hospital for a little while longer. So they're kind of fast tracking the rest of you into your new roles. So you probably get up. It's probably about 6 in the morning. So I'm just gonna leave it up to you guys to kind of describe how you kind of like how your morning routine is and how you go about your life before you head to the police station to begin your onboarding.
Okay, I imagine Ronald's life is pretty sterile and cold almost. He just wakes up, everything's, folded OCD in order. He doesn't really have much selection as far as clothing. He just puts on the same kind of style of clothing. He watches the endless sea of ads and newsreels and everything promoted to him, because I'm guessing this is rather similar to today, and there's just endless seas of media. So he's going to try and enjoy what little protein breakfast is allotted to him for the day, and he's going to get ready and I guess just head out the door and try to get there early for his first shift.
All right. And how about Horace?
Horace, kind of simplistic. He has one primary focus. He takes a lot of pride in his voice. But after getting up and stretching a bit, brewing some coffee and having a bit of breakfast, he walks around his apartment multiple times, just doing all sorts of vocal warm-ups, trills, all sorts of things, probably annoying his neighbors to no end. And then eventually, after he feels he is sufficiently loose, heads out into the world.
All right. So, I actually found. Excuse me. I found my little table that I jotted down some time ago about the kind of like the monetary situation. So, everybody in Unity City, and I'd imagine the rest of the territory that Unity City kind of falls under, there is a universal monthly wage for every single person living there, and it is like 2,500 credits, which is essentially just like how it is in copper. Just use the standard copper, money that you would use in the coming, but we just call them credits. And everybody's like rent for an apartment, 600 credits. And with after all of like the other bills, like your electric, your water, sewage, waste, your mobile phone, and making sure that you can, like if you have a car or some sort of vehicle, that you have money that you can charge the battery because there are no petrol or internal combustion engines. Like all vehicles are all electric because they're trying to be green. The only like utility that you don't have to pay for is your cable internet. That is, free, but if you wanted to, you can pay like an extra $100 for a premium package, which leaves everybody with a paltry 300 credits or 200. You just have the premium internet, which is pretty much just enough to just get by with no extra frills. And because of that,
I love the joy of that. That's hilarious. I thought I was rich for a minute, and then all of a sudden I imagine I would buy the extra add-on internet package, being Ronald. So I have 200 credits extra. So that's not that bad.
Now, because of
Not
like
for
the
I guess Ronald's used to it. It's just kind of a
very minimal amount of free money that one has, it's very common for people to kind of have like side hustles so they can make a little bit of extra money if they they want to have a little bit of a fun or something, and the standard free spending money is just not enough for that. And that can really be from anything from legal or illegal means. But pretty much just about everybody has a little bit of has something to kind of bring in a little bit of extra money. And now there are kind of like on paper there are things that like on paper it makes everything seem equal because everybody has the same amount of money, but sometimes like if some people can bring in a little more or less, how it would be less is if they are like penalized for whatever reason, whether it be they don't make a payment on something or disciplinary action at work or from the police, whatever reason, they can kind of garnish that wage. And some other jobs they offer like incentives and bonuses, so some people will end up making more than others. But on paper, everybody makes the same amount of money. It's just like something that's not really said, and is kind of a frowned upon to bring to light. But I digress. So, the two of you, actually, for posterity, I'm gonna have Hector kind of describe his like morning routine, like what he does.
Should I start?
Yeah, go ahead. Whenever you're ready.
So, his morning routine is much like everybody's. He gets up, has breakfast, does all the boring things, but then after the boring things, he has to practice with his mech suit. So he would go into the it's not a mech suit school, but it's a mech lessons, which is quite a novelty, and he's very proud of that, being able to access technology before it's made publicly available. And that's kind of what his mornings consist of: just the breakfast, his toilet, and then he just goes and learns more and more about his little toy that he'll be using eventually.
Okay, so as you guys kind of finish up your morning routines, and you make your way to the police station, walk into the kind of like I guess it would be the employee entrance for the police force, which you immediately walk in. There's like a desk with like a what you can assume is like, you can't really tell what it is because it's very, there's a person there, but it's a very androgynous appearance. They're just that person is just kind of typing away, and above them there's like the crest of the Unity City Police Department, which the motto in Latin, which is like, it essentially just says "protect and serve" in Latin. I'm not gonna attempt to like butcher Latin. So the person at the desk sees you come in, and they say good morning to the two of you. I'm just gonna say that Ronald and Horace, they kind of arrive first. So
Yeah, we'll probably just introduce ourselves and just see where they want us to kind of meet up, being a little unfamiliar with maybe this end of the police department or what section we should actually be in. We'll just kind of gather whatever advice we can, and we'll go from there.
So, you're gonna tell this person that you are, you're going to your orientation with the conspirators and dissidents department, and she says like, oh, well, I'm not gonna say she or whatever it is, but they direct you. They say, oh, just take the elevator to level 3, and it will be like they'll direct you from there. So just a very they don't spend a whole lot of time being too talkative. It's kind of very, I guess,
Very matter of fact.
very matter of fact, very professional and whatnot.
Perfect. We'll probably just follow wherever they're going to lead us, because we're probably fairly used to this kind of arrangement at this point.
Yeah. So normally, as police, in your previous role as regular police officers, pretty much you would just be spending your time on the ground floor. So, and you really didn't spend a lot of time going up and down the various floors of the police station. So you go up the elevator. There's this apartment. To which you meet up with another person, very more obviously female, has very bright neon green hair that is kind of cut very short and has, it's like shaved on like one side and it's brushed to the opposite side. You can kind of, looking, very closely, you can kind of tell that like she has, a lot of, like body piercings, but she has to take out, her police policy. And she greets you, and she says, "Oh, you must be Officer Springs and Officer Horace. You must be coming for the orientation."
Yeah, I think Ronald probably is just very awkward just seeing this obviously very brazen dressed lady. He's just going to be like, yeah, that's why we're here. And he's just going to kind of mumble and stare at the floor and hope that Horace takes over. But I'm guessing he's probably the one that's already kind of struck up the conversation. So he'll just kind of find a spot that's suitable. I guess if there's like chairs or something. Is it more like a classroom area or is it?
It's just kind of like you're basically at like a receptionist desk.
Okay.
And you can kind of,
Yeah, he's just going to stand awkwardly by the desk then and just stare at the floor and the pens and...
Okay, so she's going to, unless Horace had something to say.
I would have just confirmed, who we are, why we're here, and probably asked, what exactly the situation is going to be, who's going to meet us and all that.
She says, that will be like you'll find that out in once the orientation begins. I don't really. It's been obviously the orientation was a little bit different whenever I was brought in, but in the kind of role that you're probably going to be in this department, it might be a little different. But the orientation room is down the hall. She motions to her left. She says it's down the hall. It's going to be the fourth door on the right.
All right, thank you. At this point, are we waiting for someone or can we just go on over?
You can just go on over.
All right, I'll wave over to Ron, give him the go ahead, and then start walking down the hallway.
All right. So you make your way down the hallway and into the orientation room. It's not like a super large room. It can maybe fit like 40 people. So there's about 40 like folding chairs set up in the middle of the room. There's kind of like there's a podium up front and projection screen. Not too much else. It's kind of dark in there most lights are off, so you can pretty much like you see kind of like the light coming from like the projection screen. And I imagine as you walk in, it's got like a motion detected lights, so like they probably all just like click on as you walk in. Now, this is a question for Hector. Is he currently wearing his mech suit? Or is he just...
Yeah,
Oh,
he is, but he's wearing it in the training grounds, and he takes it off there. He doesn't own one. It's given to him when he has to do something with it. That's at least the agreement that he signed. That's like the contract he signed when he signed up for the job. He will be provided with a mech, but he needs to train for it, and he covers all the other requirements they had of him, except for, you know, knowing how to use it. So now he's taking obviously lessons on how to use it, but he's getting quite good at it, and he'll probably be good to use one. Sure, maybe in like the coming few days or so, he'll be even more confident and probably try to do a test or two to verify his ability to operate such a invention as that. It's all a little bit experimental, so there isn't really a written like law kind of a, it's very new. It's a very new thing. But there are people that try to make it, bureaucratic, even though it's new and a novelty. He needs to, obviously, he needs to like show that he knows how to use it. He does. He just needs like a piece of paper that says that he does, and that's why he's there. In the shortest way I can explain it.
Alright. So, after you finish your training, you're gonna probably find yourself also, heading up to the third floor on the at the police station, because you're going to be taking part in this orientation as well. So, so you're gonna get up. You're gonna get up to the third floor. You're gonna be met with the same lady at the desk. She's gonna ask you, like, how can I help you?
I'm here for the induction. Which floor is the room where that might happen for newer recruits?
Okay. So, all right. So she's gonna direct you to the same room that Horace and Ronald Springs went to, and just kind of go back to her computer work. So like face like kind of like facial features wise, what is like Ronald not Ronald Hector look like? Is since he was, military, I imagine he maybe a bit, more grizzled in a sense. But that's just my own.
Yeah, he definitely looks a little bit old. Yeah, I think he looks a little bit older than he is because of all the stress. Um, mm, does have some scars. They have healed mostly, except for one, which is just his chin. His chin was broken in a fight, and healed a little bit uh, in a funny way. It's a little bit off center, and it's also a place where there isn't any like beard because the skin where those stems of the roots of the beard was kind of ripped, so it doesn't really get covered with any kind of like facial hair there. The follicles or whatever they're called, they don't really show up there. But apart from that, all pretty much where it should be, except of course he looks a little bit older, and he actually is. So that's really the main facial kind of information if you look at his face.
Okay, gotcha. So you're gonna make yourself make your way to the into the orientation room. And whereabout is Ronald and Hector sitting? Not Hector, Horace.
Horace is definitely right up front.
I'm not sure how big the classroom is or how many people are in it, but I imagine we're probably just
It's pretty much like
near
right now
the
it's just
front-ish.
It's just you two, and then it'll be Hector once he gets in. It's not a very big. It's not a very big like room, or like it can maybe sit like 40 people in it.
Okay, so that's not too bad. Yeah, I guess we'd probably be, or at least Ron's somewhat sitting near the front, and as soon as he sees Hector come in, he's gonna stand up and just be polite, ready to introduce himself, because he knows this is obviously one of his fellow coworkers, or soon-to-be fellow coworkers.
All right, so I'm just gonna kind of let you guys kind of maybe role play out your like how you guys kind of meet.
I guess as soon as Ron stands up, he's probably going to go up and introduce himself as, hi, I'm Ronald Springs. Nice to meet you. And he's probably looking up at Horace or at Hector, because he's 5'9", and I think Hector was quite a bit taller. So.
Hi, Hector. So I'll have a seat and I'll sit, and then I'll kind of be almost, I won't appear so like a giant, like so gigantic. I'll be a little bit less intimidating, and I'll shake his hand, and that'll be really my first interaction with Was it Ronald?
Yeah. Ronald's the one who introduced you, and then there's
Yeah, I guess Ronald would probably also introduce Horace and be like, "This is my old friend, colleague rather, Horace." He's just gonna awkwardly try and introduce you to.
Well, pleasure to meet you. And let's keep the chaos to a minimum once we're out there. Although you'll find out later. I'll just let you know later. But yeah, that's enough for now. Like information. I think for Hector, he's pretty happy knowing that he's working with people that aren't necessarily military, because he won't have to hold himself to the same standard as he would if he is in a situation surrounded with people that he knows would expect certain etiquette from him. So he's quite happy to be relaxed and not have to think about his obligations. Etiquette obligations, that is.
no.
He's glad he can be a normal person, essentially.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's about it.
I feel like hearing that there's chaos in the streets kind of deal or whatever the comment was. Ronald's kind of paranoia is going to kick in. He's going to think that Hector's overheard that we were our last call. Perhaps there's bad rumors floating about for Ronald, so he's a little on edge.
Yeah.
All right. So obviously, as you guys kind of break the ice, you know, get to know yourselves a little bit better. It's probably about 15 or so more minutes until somebody somebody walks in. It's kind of like a woman walks in, in a more obviously professional dress, and she looks more like a I guess you could say more normal than some of the other people that you probably meet. Doesn't have like unnaturally colored hair and whatnot, and obviously very well built. Obviously, being part of the police force, we kind of have to be. But, other than that, not nothing very noteworthy. But she walks up to the podium and clears her throat, and she says, "Greetings, all of you. I am Sergeant Jill Stafford. I'm second in command of the Conspirators and Dissidents Department, or CDD. I'm filling in for Lieutenant Avery, who had to leave early today. She was having some issues with her anxiety, but I was asked to conduct the orientation on her behalf." So, you have been brought here because, well, the party has specific rules that all of us have to follow, and it's our job to make sure everybody follows those rules. Just to keep the security, keep the peace in our society. So, your job will entail gathering intelligence on possible dissidents and, dare I say, fascists. Now, as all of you hear that word fascist, you just feel like an immediate like sense of just like anger, because as a part of their training, the education by the state, anytime anybody hears that word, they've been trained to essentially be whipped into a frenzy, like of just like a psychotic rage of sorts. However, your training as both police and military, you have received training to kind of desensitize yourself to being reduced to primal apes upon hearing such a word. But although it's not like 100%, pretty much anybody in like the police or in the military, if they hear the word, they kind of just get like, it just kind of like puts them in a bad mood, essentially. So you kind of just like get that, like fire burning in your chest on hearing that, but you're able to kind of, keep it together, I suppose. Because fascist is pretty much the umbrella term that the party uses to describe nonconformists. And continuing, this is Sergeant Stafford continuing, and also breaking up such groups and bringing them to justice. And she kind of, as she's doing this, she's kind of going through like a quick PowerPoint presentation, kind of like going on about things that they kind of, the kinds of people that they're really trying to, in your role, you're going to be tasked with snuffing out. And that is including, but not necessarily limited to, religious organizations. Any sort of, nationalist groups, like whether, ethno-nationalist groups, other sorts of conspiracy theorists, people who, try to expose the party on things that try to expose like some of the supposed wrongdoings of the party. And the whole kind of orientation maybe lasts about 45 minutes. And pretty much at the end of it, she's just going to ask, do you have any burning questions that I can maybe try and answer before I dismiss you?
Yep, I have a question. I'll raise my hand.
Yes.
So my question is, when will I be able to use my mech in a perhaps not the best person to ask, but when will it become proved or like widely the use of mechs? When will it become a widely used form of law enforcement?
That I don't really have the answer to, but I understand you are part of the trial run of these new mechs, as you call them.
Yes, I was getting quite excited to test it on targets.
Well, you will you will absolutely be of use in particularly the apprehending of suspected dissidents.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I can't really say when this new technology will become standard equipment.
Yes, I understand. Okay. That's all I have to ask.
Anybody else? She asks, like kind of looking over to in the direction of Horace and Ronald.
Ronald's just gonna say that he's good, but he's gonna be looking over at Hector, being very interested. When he heard mech suit pop up, he's obviously very curious about that.
Okay. And I'm just going to assume that Horace is good too.
Oh yeah, Horace is just gonna kind of smile and nod. No real questions at the moment.
All right. Well, for now, you can kind of you can have a walk around the walk around the department, get yourself familiarized. You will have your own little cubicle in the offices, and we will let you know if you have any, we'll let you know when you receive your first assignment. Does that sound good?
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. And, she dismisses you to kind of dismisses you to kind of well, she'll well, first of all, she'll kind of give you your the number of your she'll give you like a number that that's your assigned cubicle number, which there's a good a good chance that you might not spend too much time at such a cubicle, but when you're kind of, I guess, not out on the not out in the field, like out on the streets, you'd probably be there. So,
Gotcha.
now that you're dismissed, let's see. What does
Ronald's just gonna quickly gather his things, and then he's gonna kind of walk up to Hector, and he's gonna say, "Did I hear you say you're mech suit training?"
Yep. I can use one of those things. Absolutely.
You can see his face is kind of like lights up a little bit. It's probably the first time you've actually seen him smile or make any kind of emotion in his face other than hearing, the word fascist earlier. But he's gonna say, "Man, I always thought those were a rumor to the police station. I didn't think they were real."
No, they are real, and they're quite fun. Although they don't seem to be very. They're not like entirely safe to use. Sometimes stop. Sometimes they're a little awkward. I'm sure that the other generation that's going to come into next year will fix some of those issues. I've already given feedback to the engineers, and they should be getting some more improvements in the near future. But yeah, they are a bit of a rumor because nobody's seen them officially. Only, I believe, people with previous organized combat experience have access to them.
He's just gonna be listening intently and just nodding, and just he's gonna say, "Once we get those kinks worked out of the system, I'm sure there'll definitely be some superior firepower. I'm glad you're on our side, that's for sure."
Yeah, well, I'm sure enemies of the state will also be copying the technology if they get their hands on it. So we'll try not to give away too much too soon, or to people that
he's just gonna nod
aren't trustworthy.
He's gonna nod and say, "I understand," and he's gonna kind of, I don't know, subconsciously tap his pistol, and you can see on his kind of his holster, it actually says "Data Eraser" on. He's kind of a nerd, and he's got that imprinted on his gun holster. So
yeah,
he's
well,
just
I would like to use it, but still undergoing training, and once I obtain the necessary papers, I'll be able to have one to use at certain situations, but I don't have one. I wouldn't be allowed to own one. I don't think anybody is. I think
he's just gonna kind of nod and say, "Yeah, but if they're doing field testing on you, and even the captains kind of know, I think they're getting pretty close to releasing it, don't you think? Especially with all the dissonance popping up."
Yeah, I hope so. Well, it seems like it is going to be soon. It's just I won't have access to one unless I'm assigned specific task. I don't just get to own one. It's basically part of the work, right? Part of your tools to work with, but you don't necessarily use it for anything else other than work. Right now, anyway. So that's it for the mech. Maybe you could, I don't know. I have a lesson tomorrow, and if you want to see it in action, I guess you can come. Why not? How does that sound?
What did you say? Were you talking? What did you say?
I said that I have a training this day today, tomorrow, and this whole week and everything. And if he's interested, he can take a look at the mech from up close.
Yeah, that's fine. You know, if you're gonna be working together, you'd probably you'd probably uh, you'd probably you'd see it like at sometime soon, anyways. So
Yeah, you'll get to see it. That's all I'm trying to say. If you can't wait, then you could always see it earlier. Make sure that it's not a fictional story, but reality. Call it a myth. It's far from myth.
Ronald's just gonna kind of nod and laugh and just gonna smile, and he's gonna be like, "Absolutely, I'll see you around for sure around the office." And he's gonna try and find
Oops. Yeah.
his desk. But I imagine we're all probably located very similar to each other or very close to each other.
yeah. So you're gonna leave the like the orientation room and kind of start walking around the halls and whatnot.
Yeah, I'll just scope out where the bathroom and the office and the coffee pot is, and whatever the future holds for an office.
Make me a perception check.
It's a 13 altogether. Actually, I have 14 actually because I have +1 for intelligence.
Okay. So you as you're kind of walking through, kind of taking mental notes, is like where like all the bathrooms are, where the break room is, and other sorts of lounge areas, and the ubiquitous like water cooler. They still have those in the distant future, just like the office staple. But as you are doing your rounds, you come across the office of the commander. That'd be the command, or the leader of the CDD, the Lieutenant Avery Mayers. You find their office, and the door is standing wide open, and as you're like pretty much like all the other doors, kind of like they're all shut and whatnot, but for whatever reason, her door is standing wide open.
Okay. I guess that would be a little odd. So he's just going to kind of investigate. Ronald's pretty quiet, so he'll just slowly tiptoe forward and kind of carefully look inside.
Okay. Now, the office lights, they're off. The only thing that you see there, like the only light sources that you see are the lights, kind of like the dim kind of light coming from the kind of like the one-way window. It's kind of like like kind of very heavily tinted. That like you can from the office you can kind of see the streets below, but from the outside it would just appear to be like a mirror. So you can see like a little bit of ambient light from there, and there is the light coming from her, not her, their computer screen, and there is a like an electronic calendar. It's kind of like kind of like an iPad, a little bit bigger than like an iPad, but it's basically just like an electronic calendar, and there are like certain dates on the calendar that they're like different colors. Like some of them are. Shit, where are my notes? Some of them are like kind of like marked blue and red and green and yellow without any like real like like you wouldn't really like off the top of your head you wouldn't really know like what those meanings. Oh no, I'm sorry, I found my notes on this. They're color coded, and you can kind of see there's like a chart that kind of like decodes like what the different colors mean. So blue means like a public holiday, yellow is payday, green is like time off, like days off, and red is labeled as event, see email.
Ronald's just gonna stare at this for a little bit, kind of a little confused that there'd be events like kind of seemingly unlabeled. Like, is this like an actual role? I guess you said it was an iPad, right? So this is all electronic.
It's just kind of like it's basically like the size of like a computer monitor, but it's just a calendar. And
okay. Ronald will see if he can scroll through it or if there's any kind of like lock on it.
You can like kind of scroll through like the different like months.
I guess he'll look at the next coming red marked event day. Is that like soon? Is that like next couple days, couple weeks?
You like from where you saw it, you didn't see any like events, but when you click onto the next month, there is one red calendar day, and it is 2 weeks from now.
And he's gonna go to the next month and see if there's anything else.
You don't see any events.
Okay. He's just gonna kind of, I guess, getting the paranoid kind of feeling like he's lingered too long. He'll just kind of set it all down, but he'll make a note of that one day that's been marked as an event.
Yeah.
Just because he's curious about that. Like maybe it could be, you know,
And
some police holiday that's coming up, or some like, pizza day. He's not going to think anything overtly suspicious right now.
yeah, and so you're just kind of curiously kind of
Yeah, I'll curiously
scroll through like the calendar, and as you said, the other other source of light is like the computer excuse me, computer monitor that's like it's illuminated, and it's at the login screen, and it has Lieutenant Mayor's like kind of username put in, and then there's the it's asking for a password. So it's just kind of like the they just like logged off and and whatnot, but
there's like a computer there that's possible to access.
If you,
I guess,
if you were, I mean, I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but it's like,
no, on the first day, Ronald's just gonna make a mental note of like what it is. He'll, if he can, like memorize if it's a simple little username, just in case, in case it could be logged in other computers. He'll just make a note of it. So he'll have the note of the day and I guess his captain's username or user login info.
yeah.
And then he'll just try and, I guess, quickly get out of there and not leave anything disturbed or moved or any obvious kind of, evidence that he was there.
Make a stealth check.
Okay. Let's see if I knock over a big pile of papers on my way out. Roll d20. And that's as it is. So it's 13.
13. Yeah, you're
total. Yep.
Yeah, you you kind of as casually as you can just kind of stroll out of your like the out of Avery's office, which this this Avery person was has left for the day, and there's pretty much really no reason for you to even be there other than you're just kind of snooping, but nobody sees you go in or go out. And as you kind of walk around the corner, you are met face to face with the sergeant, Jill Stafford, and you kind of maybe kind of get a little spooked because you weren't expecting it, and probably the paranoia also probably doesn't help.
No, definitely not. He's gonna just be like, "Oh, I didn't see you there. The coffee's great, by the way." And he's doing just try and
like Officer
Springs.
Officer Springs. Yes. I was actually looking for you. I just received I just got some. I actually have some orders for you and your the two others that were with you in the office. Officer Horace and Officer. What was the what
I think it was Hector.
Hector's what was Hector's last name? Did he have a last name? But anyway.
Yeah, Keegan.
Officer Horace and Officer Keegan. So
That's right.
I just filled them in. and I was looking for you. So from some of our informants, we were told of a possible religious organization that has been creating a buzz in the in the city, and we're asking you to investigate and snuff them out.
He'll just kind of nod and reply, "Sounds good."
I'm just gonna.
Did you need me to get anything together, or
Just remain in civilian clothes. We'll
sounds good?
we want
We're undercover.
we want you to be undercover. Yes. So
Fantastic.
officer. So since Ronald was kind of by himself, Sergeant Stafford is going to say, Horace and Hector are going to be in the break room. They're going to be waiting for you, and once you're all there, you can head down to the down to the armory to gather any equipment you might need, whether it be guns, ammo, and with you being undercover, we do have like bulletproof vests or bulletproof shirts. With the all the advances in technology we've been able to develop very very thin very thin bulletproof material that can be very very discreet, so you definitely wouldn't raise any suspicion from the public.
Just I nod and be like, "Yeah, that's probably the smartest thing to do. Thank you. Is there anything else that I can tell them?" As referring to Horace and Hector.
No, there shouldn't be. They're already filled in. They're already filled in. They're just waiting for you to join them, and you can.
Perfect. I won't keep them. I won't keep them waiting. Then thanks, man. And he'll quickly kind of hurry off, kind of reluctantly, thinking he kind of dodged a bullet there, because if he had waited around a little longer, he would have probably got caught. So
yeah.
He'll quickly drop his things by his computer, maybe just personalize it a bit by changing his background screensaver, and then just meet the guys in the lunchroom. Ronald isn't going to leave the standard police issue screensaver on his computer, so.
So you're gonna head down to the lunchroom. There's a couple other workers in there. They're just kind of having their own little conversation, and Hector and Horace are kind of standing by the kitchenette area, just kind of waiting for you. And once you meet up, you're gonna head down to the armory. If you're pick up anything that you might need. You
Horace will definitely pick up some of that like super thin ballistic armor that looks like a shirt.
yeah.
I think I'll have one of those as well. And I'll get like a silencer or a pistol.
Yeah.
And probably, I think that's probably all I'm gonna need. If we're just gonna go and kill a bunch of guys, then
So yeah.
we'll get enough.
So yeah, you go down to the armory. There's like a couple different sections. There's section spot for to get guns and accessories for the guns, ammunition, and there's kind of like they're basically like coat racks that are all kind of full of these different types of like bulletproof vests, from standard like police and military vests, and others that just like they honestly just look almost like regular clothing, be it from like t-shirts to like jackets and whatnot, but they essentially function like Kevlar vests. So you definitely blend in if you're trying not to raise suspicion.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. So I think we probably would all take those. That seems smart. At least it'll give us pretty good DV, and the armor penetration is pretty amazing on it. So I guess we'll change into those. I don't need anything else. I'm debating if I should bring a silencer or if I'm just gonna try and not arouse suspicion with blasting off handguns. So I will probably purchase a silencer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, that'll be my 200 from my monthly allowance there. We'll go to that.
Yeah. So you get like your equipment, and you guys like are given kind of the it's not really like an address, but it's just like a street that these kind of like reports of where this religious organization is supposedly located. And it's from your location, it's about maybe like a 30-minute drive. And being that you're police, you have various unmarked police cars, so you'd have no problem finding a vehicle that would blend in as well.
Yeah, I imagine it would probably take the least cop-looking car, something a little more subtle. Trying to think what would be the best for us, but
Okay.
I imagine trucks aren't very common in the future, at least in the city.
Yeah, you wouldn't really find
Probably
too
little.
many like pickup trucks.
Gotcha.
So
it'd probably be more like a light SUV or something.
It would pretty much be just like you could either get like kind of like the like a light SUV that would kind of be like the civilian model of like your patrol car or like.
Is our car electric or is
Yes,
it?
they're all vehicles are electric. There are no internal combustion engines.
Okay. Well, that's quite easy to drive. No, like gear shifting, just press or like pull the throttle harder and then it gets faster.
Yeah.
Situation. That's really cool.
Yeah, there's no delay on the acceleration, that's for sure.
No, just more electricity, faster.
Exactly.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, so I imagine we're in the underground. If it's an underground parking lot, we'll just kind of stumble across our SUV, which is like parked by some PT cruiser-looking vehicle, and we'll just kind of like look at the two and obviously take the SUV.
Yeah. So you got like, it's not really like a PT Cruiser. It's kind of like a K car.
Okay.
Kind of like one of those
All right.
like the little Japanese cars.
Nice. Okay.
So you're gonna take the slightly less suspicious unmarked vehicle.
Yeah. I mean, it's up to the group. If Horst would prefer something different, or if Hector wants something different, it's. I mean, Ronald's not really a car person, but.
Yeah. Well, you'd probably want to take 2 cars. Oh, because you got.
Okay. I mean, that works for me. I
one.
don't believe I'm.
One of you would drive, and the other would. Oh, one of you would drive. One would be in like the front passenger seat, and the other would just be driving by themselves because the back is for the bad guys.
Gotcha. That makes sense. All right. Who feels like driving? Do you guys have training in it?
I do.
I don't. I don't per se, but perfect. That works.
Well, who's gonna be the chauffeur?
I will.
Okay,
So who's
going
gonna
to
drive?
Ray? What's that?
Well, if we're taking 2 vehicles, I guess one person is driving alone, right? And the other person has the one in shotgun.
Yeah. I guess that really the question is like, we again, we're just gonna. I guess like, or you can have like all have like your own individual cars. That's also not a problem. If that would make more sense.
Yeah, and what about Officer Vaughn? Is he capable of driving?
I am not trained, but I could theoretically drive.
Okay, well, that sounds dangerous.
That definitely that doesn't sound
I would imagine if you were
as good saying it
part of
aloud.
the police force, you would probably know how to drive.
Okay. Alrighty.
Okay,
Might not be like.
that's
You might
that's
not be
like
amazing. It's just kind of like.
is there like I have never actually thought about that. Do you have to? Oh, yeah, you should. All police officers should be able to drive.
All right. I will do some refitting, and I will remove my science, and I'll move that into driving because that makes more sense to me. Honest, if that's okay with you.
I mean, driving is not like.
It is just dexterity based,
Yeah.
but it is a -5 to untrained.
I think everybody nowadays, well, at that time would probably be able to. But the thing is, maybe not because of this, the 15-minute kind of concept, the 15-minute city concept where you can get anywhere in 15 minutes in a city.
Yeah,
That's
or
like-
it's mostly public transportation, and you're not actually relying on. But I imagine as a police officer, you probably would have to have training at some degree.
I think so. I think you could
Okay.
keep your. I think you should be able to keep your other stuff as well, because every police officers, because of their job, do have that. So that's like a bonus, right?
I don't want to take too many train skills because that's. You know what? I'll remove a Haminia. I guess it's not really in the coming anyway, right?
You don't have to remove anything, I don't think. But okay, it's up to
All right,
you.
I'll figure it out, but we'll just assume that I have training. There we go. I'll move my rune lore because rune lore is theoretically reading and writing, so I will move that
Okay.
around and have driving.
I'll allow
That's
it.
fair. Okay.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
I will allow it. So,
I mean, yeah, it's up to the Mythmaster. I just thought it was strange.
alright, so
I mean, I could go in a bike, but that's not going to be very useful. So
No.
yeah.
Well, at least you won't be suspicious.
So you're
But
going to.
that's true, yeah.
So you're gonna take 3 cars. Is that what you?
I guess we will take 3 cars. Yes.
We'll take 3.
All right. So you're all gonna have your individual vehicles, and you're gonna head down to this street that you were told where this alleged religious organization is supposedly located. And the streets are pretty well packed. It's a massive city. I think I don't remember what exactly I said. I'm gonna have to pull up the. Oh yeah, it's like the city essentially resembles like the cities of Los Angeles, New York, Tokyo, Dubai, and like pretty much like the cities of Los Angeles, New York, Tokyo, and Dubai kind of thrown together, and that's essentially what Unity City looks like. And also, just like throw in like the typical like Eastern Bloc apartment complex. Like what do you call those? There's a name for them. I can't remember.
It's called panelka, which means like a panel.
Yeah, they're essentially just like very like utilitarian, like just like very utilitarian. Nothing special about them. They're just like made to be made really quickly. But so yeah, it's essentially you get like a mix of like super like futuristic, extremely tall buildings with a little mix of like this like really like grubby like Eastern Bloc aesthetic. So, but the cities are packed, or rather the streets are packed. This is pretty typical for the city. But so it probably takes you, maybe a little bit longer than 30 minutes to get to your destination. But, after a while you get to the street that you were given the like you weren't given like a specific address. You were just told to go to like this street and just kind of watch watch for any like suspicious characters. So you'll probably like kind of park in like a back alley or something, and take to the streets from there. Now, this it would be like almost impossible for any like to look anywhere on any given street and not see massive like neon signs advertising something in like the most obnoxious and hedonistic way possible. Like you'll get like a fucking advertisement for like something extremely mundane, like stationery, and you got like some vaguely like feminine looking character like doing some disgusting like dance to it.
I'm already picturing it now. So
Yeah, just the perfect mixture of just like consumerism and just like decadent hedonism tossed together. But and obviously the cities are like the streets are also equally as jam packed. So that can kind of make things a little bit difficult. So now that you are at your destination, you've parked your cars and whatnot. What does everybody want to do now?
can we see anything at all about the building from the back? I guess we're in the back alley or across the street, something like that. But if there's anything we can see about the building, or is it just like blending into all the other buildings with all the other lights and sounds and distractions?
It's pretty nondescript. Like there wasn't
Okay.
really any specific reason that you parked where you were. Just kind of like out of the
general way kind of deal and out of sight. Yeah. I guess Ronald will probably go up front and just kind of do like a walk past just to see if he can see anything in the like. Is it more like a shop, or is it kind of you said it's like a church, correct? Or is it a religious organization within a storefront that's kind of
like a religious organization, but like obviously religion is outlawed in this world, and anybody who would want to like form some sort of religious organization probably wouldn't like want it to be too obvious that that's what they're doing. So but from it's kind of like secondhand information, but you were the police informants have we're told that they believe that there might be some sort of religious organization.
What do you guys think about doing?
I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say to the other guys, what do we feel like doing? Do we want to go in and try and talk them into giving us some information, or should we just try and scout this out?
I mean, we weren't given an exact address, were we?
No, you were basically just told to go to like a specific street where kind of like some sort of like suspicions were raised that there might be like some sort of like religious organization. Like basically have to kind of track it down, and so
Oh, I guess Ron will start kind of looking through the crowd and just kind of doing like a walk around and trying to stay nonchalant.
okay.
Maybe he'll eat on one of his little meal replacement bars that's made of cricket.
Okay, yeah. Make a perception check. I mean, all the others you can also make perception checks. I imagine. As like, are you all traveling as a group, or are you kind of going like, are you guys like splitting up and like?
I think it would be best to split up.
Yeah, that's kind of what I assumed as well.
So
Also, I rolled a natural 1.
I rolled an 8, so I don't think we're doing very well.
Okay.
I didn't roll yet, so I don't know. But let me try. Oh wait, how did you roll with this? Ah, yes, I remember. Ah, perfect. I got a 2. Oh, what a great
Okay,
result.
so what does it say? Horace rolled a natural 1.
Yep.
So that's a fumble. So as you're walking, you like walk by somebody who has like a white T-shirt that's over like a jacket, and you like the jacket's open so you can see like what's on the T-shirt. And there's like a graphic on it, and you see the word Christ, and you didn't really see anything else, or you see like either Jesus or Christ like on the shirt, but you don't really get the rest of the context. Like you see it, and then like maybe like somebody kind of like accidentally bumps into you, so you didn't get like a good chance to read the rest of it.
We see Christ written on a shirt.
It's like you see like a reference to Jesus on there, which from your training is, obviously, I mean, I don't have to explain what Jesus is, but
No.
you would be taught about, Christianity and the other religions like in your training. So that's kind of that. So as far as you're aware, just like the very mention of it, or at least for Horace, you see, just the mention of it, just like that raises a red flag to you.
All right. In that case, would I be able to follow this guy, or would I have lost sight of him in the crowd?
You can make another perception check to see if you find the guy.
All right. Another natural 1.
You see somebody wearing like the same sort of outfit, like slightly different, but you think it's the same guy.
All right. I'm going to go up to him and tap him on the shoulder.
He's going to turn around and just like, what? He's kind of like annoyed that you like tapped him on the shoulder, because maybe he's just like one of those people that just like he's not very sociable, so he just kind of just says just what as he turns around.
Oh, well, I just wanted to say, I saw you from a distance. I like your shirt. And then I guess I looked down and realized that it's like just white.
It's just a white T-shirt.
And then I try and keep up the charade and say, "Well, yeah, that was it. You're styling today. See ya." And then I walk away.
He's just gonna give you like the. He's just gonna basically look like you have like 5 heads, and then he's just gonna be like, "All right," and he's just gonna just go about his day. Go about his day. So I mean, your first your first batch of like perception checks obviously didn't go over so well, but I'm just gonna have you guys roll again,
No worries.
just like another.
I imagine Ronald was just like standing in the corner, kind of people watching, seeing what was going on. And he just watched that whole thing occur, and he was just kind of like chuckling to himself that you know, stopping people for a white T-shirt is kind of funny. I did the exact same roll with a 7 or with an 8 altogether.
Mm-hmm.
You got a 17.
Beautiful.
And what about Hector?
Is it a perception? What was it that I was rolling?
Perception.
Oh, just give me 1 second. Oh, 15. I do believe I have. No, I don't have any. Oh, I do have +1 to perception. Oh, it's 16.
Okay, so after a while of just like people watching, kind of, at least for Horace and Hector, you kind of start to notice something about like certain. You start to see certain people dressed in a certain way. They're kind of dressed in kind of like a. It's not like a robe, but it's just kind of like a very long t-shirt, like a very long sleeve t-shirt that kind of like goes like past the knees. It's kind of like a dress, and like they're like these are men or very masculine, like androgynous like people, but they're all wearing just kind of like these black kind of like dress robe like garments, and you maybe see maybe like out of like a big group of like say like 100 people, you maybe see like 5 of them. So it's like a very small percentage, but you definitely kind of start to see like a pattern, or like
I'm going to, in one way or another, whether it's vocal or like a hand signal, notify Ronald, and then just start.
I would assume that you
Hailing.
all have like radios or like walkie-talkies.
Oh, okay. Yeah, in that case,
working
I'll
at a
signal
distance.
on. Yeah, I'll radio
Kinda like on
him.
your piece or something, so it's like a little more discreet.
But after I signal him, just to key him in on everything, and then make sure we're all on the same page, I'm just going to start keeping an eye on and then tailing at least one of these people to see if they're heading in a general direction.
They all seem to be heading in the same kind of general direction. They're like it would essentially be north. Like
All right. We can all just, at a good distance, of course, so it doesn't look like we're organized, tail up on them, see where they're headed, I guess.
Okay. And so now that you're all kind of clued in, I'm gonna have all of you kind of make another perception check, since you've established your target, but now you're tracking them through. You're obviously you're still tracking them through like a large crowd. So everybody make perception. Another perception check.
16.
4, so not very good.
Oh, 10, 11 actually, 11.
I'm gonna say it's Horace. You rolled high enough that after after a while you see one of them kind of turn down a back alley, and they don't all kind of they don't file down like one by one, because that would probably be a bit too obvious. So it's kind of like one person goes down this alley, and then a couple minutes later another person goes down the alley, and so on. It's kind of more random intervals, but you see like these same people like dressed in this way, heading down the alley, the same alley.
Real quick, just to make sure, can you remind me of what our exact assignment was? Was it just like scouting and intelligence gathering?
Right now you're basically really, it could be really really both of which, if you feel comfortable that you could you know you know find the exact location or confirm that there is such activity going on, and if you would feel so inclined, put a stop to the organization.
All right. So I have this idea in mind, but to make sure we can do it, where are these people standing in relation to each other before they head down the alley?
They they don't really kind of congregate together. They kind of space themselves out, so they'll kind of start heading in that general direction of that, down that back alley, and then they'll kind of do various different things. They'll do some window shopping, or talk, or at least pretend to talk on the phone, or other activities, and then they'll just head down that alley.
All right. So I'm gonna get on the radio and talk to Ron and Hector and just share this slightly wild idea I'm having, but I might as well throw it out there. I'm thinking they're very spread out. It doesn't seem like they're too tuned into each other. So I'm thinking maybe if we can isolate them completely, we could probably, we could obviously bring them back to the car or the vehicles and take their robes, get in, disguised.
Okay.
Get their robes.
That's a good idea. If we could get three of them to, I mean, if we get three of them apart, maybe we could question them a little bit further. How long, like, I guess wide is the alley? Is it like a fairly tight alley that's like foot travel, or is it like, could we bring vehicles down that alley
It would probably fit
if we
like,
needed to?
It would probably it's probably like wide enough for like one like full size car to go through and like foot traffic like on like one side. So it's a fairly narrow alley.
Okay. That was kind of my other thought, is we could bring a vehicle down there, but that's pretty suspicious as well. But if we need to in a hurry, we can at least get down there. So maybe we can try and get one or two of these people, maybe commandeer their clothes, and I think sneak in would be ideal, but or even just bring them into the town and then, or like, talk to these people, see if we can get some information on them, bring them in, and then we
Yeah.
have probable cause to actually go in later.
And maybe arrest one or two and go back to the station, but
Yeah, because then we could have more information. We could actually figure out what's going on. But
if interrogate, but well, they're not really.
So
What is their crime, right? They don't have a crime, or is religion a crime?
religion is theoretically, yeah. Sorry, go ahead,
Oh, I
Jeremy.
see.
outlawed in
Yeah.
in the land that Unity City land,
Okay. Well, we can arrest them on charges of worship and bring them to the station and ask them. Or we could we can see with our own eyes how they worship, what they worship, and
Does there look like there's any like clothing stores that would sell similar clothing? Just out of curiosity. That'd be great if we could get some look-alike clothing just to quickly purchase, and then we wouldn't even need to commandeer them.
There's you could probably do like maybe there's plenty of just like there's like lines and lines of different shops, and there's probably like a couple of just, like clothing shops that you might be able to maybe find something in that looks like it. And if that's the route that you would go, you'd probably make like I'm gonna say it's like a foraging check.
Okay. I'll propose the idea to the other guys, see if they feel that's a good way to go, because that seems like it would be fun. Either that, or we just go in guns a-blazing and try and stir up chaos and put more scare into the organization and people pursuing these types of crimes. More of a dissuasion than an actual like catching everybody. But I could be seeing this completely wrong as well. Horace, Hector, what do you think?
Well, guns blazing is an option. We're not necessarily beholden to peace, but I would like to try to know as much as we can before taking such a serious action.
or you would rather we interrogate one of them?
Yeah, at least one.
Okay.
All right. So Ron will just kind of nod in an understanding. And is there any of them that are coming down Sally, or that we see that are remaining in the alley right now?
You probably see a couple of them kind of. So are you guys all together now?
I imagine we'd probably had reconvened, or at least been a few steps away from each other. Seeing them go down the alley, we probably would have conferred with each other.
You could probably see, like, now that they're, in the alley, and they kind of maybe step into like a little alcove of sorts, and they kind of talk amongst themselves.
I'm just trying to think of the most efficient way to do this. I mean, we could just sneak up and walk up to them and then just talk to them between the three of us, because it seems like there's a large group. Or we have two of you kind of go down the alley, and one of us kind of, if it's like a straight through alley, we could drive up the alley and then just try and pin them in with a car and two people on the other side. Then again, that's a lot of work just to talk to a couple people. So I guess it's probably best for us to just go up and talk to them, to be honest. We're probably overthinking this.
Yeah, we don't really raise any suspicion.
Yeah, so we'll just casually come, like, as a group, just kind of walk up, and occasionally Ronald will just kind of look into the shops and kind of do the same thing they're doing, just kind of, nonchalantly, just looking like we're perusing down the alleyway. And I mean, does anyone specifically want to talk to them? If not, Ronald will probably go up to them and just be like, "Hey, how are you folks tonight?"
Oh, so it's like
That's a good question.
Exactly three of them, and they, in the middle of their conversation, they talk and they look, and one of them says, "Good afternoon," like what's up?
Oh, I wasn't sure if you folks would happen to have any candles on you at all. I just my wife really loves candles, and all I've got is this lighter, and I'll pull out my little lighter just as a little subtle way to try and see if they have any religious items on them at all.
They say that he says that he does not have any candles on him, but he kind of like points you in the direction of just basically just like a chain, like a Yankee candle or whatever it is.
He'll just be like, "Oh, I see. Thank you very much. One other question. I see you're all wearing those robes. Is there a significant reason that you're wearing them? And where are you off to tonight?"
We got them at another clothes store down the street. It's just kind of like a new just kind of androgynous thing, and make a quick kind of make a social skills check.
Everybody or just him?
Just him.
I imagine it would probably be me, yeah. I was a little afraid of that, but we will see how badly I do.
Maybe you're lucky.
Maybe this is my good roll for the night when I don't have any modifiers. D20. Yeah, it's just a straight roll. 16. Surprisingly, doing fairly well.
Very decent.
You kind of, as he's talking about like where he got his ropes, you can kind of catch like a hint of unease in his voice. You can kind of gather that he's probably not being very truthful about where or why he got the robes.
Well, I'll just probably nod along to a story and be like, so they're not religious vestments or garments at all, are they? And I'll just look him like dead seriously in the face, just suddenly go from joking to rather stern.
Oh no, absolutely not. It's like what makes you think that? And you can kind
Oh,
of
we
tell
just
that he's getting a little bit more and more uneasy.
we've had some complaints of such things, and we tend to take these matters fairly seriously. You're sure about that, right? And he'll just say again a little more sternly, and he'll kind of look at the other group members and see if they can, if any of them say anything as well.
I'm gonna do a quick morale check for all three of them.
This is the only way that I could think of trying to intimidate them a little bit. So I'm glad it's somewhat going in a good direction.
One of them is going to panic and flee. And he's going to take off.
Rollins be like, "Damn it, Horace, Hector, does one of you want to go chase him?"
I'm going.
And Ronald will remain with the people in question to make sure that none of them get any smart ideas as well.
Well, I think our cover is blown.
Yeah, but there's
So-
definitely, I mean, innocent people don't run, especially in Unity City.
Yeah, sure. Well, I think I'm just gonna take out the pistol and order the other robed fellows to remain where they are and not move unless they want to be shot.
Yeah,
And
they comply. They just like stick their hands up and.
I guess Ronald would give him a quick pat down just to make sure that they didn't have any religious items on them at all besides the robes.
yeah, man. More importantly, are they armed or not? I think we can cuff them, take them back to our car, and take them back to the
So
station.
you're
And
gonna frisk them.
I think so.
Yeah.
All of them are wearing like a. All of them are wearing like crosses, like the Christian cross.
Okay.
And one of them is carrying like a very like tattered Bible. Like it's like not new by any definition. It's pretty well used. It's probably got like some like duct tape on it, like to kind of hold like the spine together.
Okay. Well, you're arrested on charges of worship and religious practice.
Yeah, and then we'll probably start just getting them ready, like kind of cuffing them and making sure they're all whatever we need to do. How's Horace doing with catching up with that other gentleman?
I guess
I guess that's probably not tempo based. It could be acrobatics.
Yeah,
seeing how they
let's say like roll. You could do like an acrobatics check. Actually, I'll have the guy, like the runner, do an acrobatics. You know, he's fine. Like he does not trip or anything, but he's just running for his life. And do a acrobatics check for Horace too.
Let's see if God is real.
I guess he is. I got a natural 1.
Yeah, you.
Maybe we are the bad guys. Oops.
Are we the bats?
Hmm.
Well, I guess I've fallen.
Yeah, you're
Break.
just gonna like yeah, you're gonna trip and you're gonna fall on your face.
Oh man. Hey, it's my first day.
It's all right. I imagine after Horace realizes he's kind of lost him, he'll probably work his way back, and Ronald will just kind of look at him and be like, Horace, good to see you're safe. I guess we got what we needed, eh?
Yeah, I suppose.
And it's probably better one of them gets away. It'll spread word that they shouldn't be doing these things. So I guess we'll get them back to the cars, and we'll see what information they have. And he'll show them the 2004 ancient Bible that they were in possession of.
Okay, so you're gonna take these two religious folk back
to
your vehicles, and are you going to?
I guess we'll just kind of.
Are you just gonna kind of
we'll kind of
them in the field, or are you gonna take them somewhere?
Here's the question: do we figure out what they know, and then go and try and find a location to, Because while we're here, we should probably investigate if we can, see if they can give us the name of a location or a building. Because with that other person that has escaped, he's going to eventually let them know, and they're probably going to,
you can
hightail it out of there as soon as they can.
You can absolutely question them, like right where you are. You don't have to take them like back to the station.
Okay, so we'll say clearly you're in possession of these illegal items. We have a fairly good idea of what's going on here. Is there where were you guys going? Can you tell us that?
We were heading to attend a service at our church. And he's going to provide you not really an address, but he's just he will give you like the address, and he's just gonna say it's just like it used to be like a grocery store, but it's got shut down like by the party because of budget restraints or for whatever reason, but at some point it became disused, and our pastor, his name is John Dacre, opened up this church in the cellar of the building.
I guess Ron's going to listen to all that and kind of nod and thank them for being cooperative. He'll probably radio back to the headquarters and let them know that we've apprehended at least 2 people. 1 person has fled, and that we have a location address, and that we're probably going to try to enter, or at least have permission to try and secure the location. Yeah, and I'll explain the situation, that it's fairly dire.
Yeah, they're going to basically say if you can, they're going to give you, they're absolutely going to give you permission if you, to try and shut down the complexes, they give you
Perfect.
permission to shut the operation down.
Perfect. I guess the safe thing would be to get these people back handcuffed into the cars. I guess in a perfect world, somebody would remain, but we need the manpower, so we'll probably all just end up coming back. So if you guys want to, we can raid this location. It's up to you guys though.
Yeah, we could do so, but we can't really. I don't feel like we could arrest more people with only 3 people, and if there's like a service going on, there might be like 20 people, and people like we already struggled with catching, the same amount of people as we were. So maybe it's best if we called for reinforcements.
Yeah, you can absolutely like call for just like kind of like
A few more cars, a few more
regular police.
people.
Yeah,
lingo.
just kind of guard the exit for people trying to flee
I,
out.
I
That'd
just
probably
don't
be a
feel
smart
like,
idea.
yeah, there might be like 20 people, 10 people. We don't know how many
Yeah.
there are.
They
Maybe I
don't
could,
seem very.
maybe
They don't
we
seem
could,
violent,
yeah.
or at least the ones we.
Why don't we ask the hostages um,
About
are
extra.
arrested, are apprehended, arrested criminals? So I'll ask them how many people attended or are attending the service just right now.
He says, I would estimate maybe about 50 people.
Okay,
Including,
well,
myself and him and our
yeah,
and the man who had fled.
So it's probably about 47 left in the, or at least scheduled to show up. They might not even be here yet. Some might not even attend at all. So, interesting. Okay, that's
well,
quite a bit more than I expected. So
we've
backup
got a
would
lot
be.
of arrests to make for sure. Okay, I'm gonna call the headquarters and speak to the coordinator and let them know that we need help on this and that street, this address, to
So
arrest approximately
we'll
50
say that
people.
There's about 3 policemen like in like 3 police vehicles that are like kind of on patrol in that general area, and like they are gonna kind of dispatch them to their location. They'll probably be there within 5 to 10 minutes.
All right. Well, get in the car. You two, I'm gonna point to the arrested, and I don't know what their names are, but it doesn't matter. Number 1 and number 2, and I'm gonna go and head in the direction of the address of the supermarket. Was it that had like a church underneath?
It's just like it was like kind of like it was. It's not like a supermarket. It's just kind of like it's like a little bit bigger than just kind of like a convenience store.
Okay, it's smaller.
Not like a
Yeah.
Walmart or a.
It's like a little mom and pop kind of. Well, probably
Yeah,
not mom and pop
it's
anymore, but it's like a food
mini
mart.
mart. It's like a mini mart. Yeah.
Like in like the UK or Walmart.
It's like a Japanese 7-Eleven.
I know. Okay, I get the idea. It's smaller. It's just kind of like a corner shop.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Okay, sure. Okay, well, I'll start driving to the location and park the car
So
outside.
you're just gonna like kind of park the car and kind of like block the area.
block the area, kind of stay in front, and I'm gonna call as well. I already called, but I'm gonna like keep giving them directions, and I'll wait for reinforcements.
I guess that
So
would be a smart idea, is to maybe drive the 3 cars kind of down the alley and kind of form like a U shape around the entrance of the,
yeah,
if we can. I know that would probably be very tight, but
we can. We're the police.
we can drive wherever we want. Yes, that's true.
Okay, so you're just yeah, you're gonna take your unmarked police cars, kind of drive over to this alleyway where you obviously you have like a confirmed location where it is. So now, yeah, in the alleyway, like as you see, it is just kind of like a. It has like the old markings for like a state-owned grocery store, but it's all shuttered up. And down the alleyway, like connected to, you see like a set of double doors where you would assume that like deliveries would be made.
Well,
Do the doors look like they have a lock on them at all on the outside, or do they look fairly open?
It looks like it would have been like locked at some point, but the the lock has been kind of like been removed or like cut off for whatever reason, which but it's very clearly unlocked. I mean the
Okay,
doors are shut, but it's you can assume that the doors are locked.
I guess I'll try and park my car to kind of block anyone trying to, like, if they left the building, that they can't flee past my car up the alley again. And then I guess wait for backup.
Okay, so as you kind of as you were kind of told you just get like regular like uniformed police, about 3, and like first like the 3 that you were told, and then like a few more kind of show up, and they all have they're all in uniform. They've all have their they're basically ready to perform the a sting operation.
Are you guys ready?
yep.
Indeed.
Perfect. I will make sure that I won't have my silencer on my handgun. I probably had 3 minutes to make sure it wasn't on, although I don't see why I would be carrying it on if I had it holstered. So I guess we'll walk up to the door, and Ronald will probably just try and slowly creak it open and peer inside and see what's going on.
Okay, so you open up the door, and so it's like you're in like the back rooms. It's lit up, and there's kind of like some crude kind of like markings, just kind of like arrows kind of pointing down to a set of stairs, and those stairs lead to another set of double doors, and these double doors kind of have like a Christian cross on both of them. They appear to be made out of like scrap metal of sorts that have been cut and arranged in a way that it looks like a Christian cross.
I guess I'll slowly move up. Is it fairly dark in the room, or is it lit up still?
It's fair. It's pretty dimly lit.
Okay, in that case, I'll have my flashlight out as well, kind of like flashlight, handgun, and I'll be up front, and I'll just kind of lead us down the hallway, if anyone wants to follow, and that is.
Right behind you.
Perfect. I guess we'll get to the next little section of where that cross is kind of pointing towards, and we'll see if there's anyone in. I guess there's like a makeshift kind of like chapel or pew or something like that.
So you go in, right? Is that what you're saying? You're gonna like go inside? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was muted. Yes, I'm gonna try and go inside.
All right. So you open up the door, and it it's kind of like a chapel size. You would estimate it sits really like only about like 100 people, so it's a pretty small operation, and it just kind of looks like a very bare bones, kind of like I guess a non-denominational like Protestant church. No religious iconography, just like a cross and a few pews and a podium, up at the front. And there are about 20 or so people in there, also dressed in these robes, and they're kind of some are kind of studying their also equally as tattered Bibles. Some are kind of conversing amongst themselves, quietly, as to be respectful for those who are either praying or doing other things, religious.
It seems a little, I guess, disrespectful for coming in while they're praying, but I guess Ron's here to do his job, so he's gonna walk in and announce Unity City Police Department, stay where you are. You're all under arrest. Cooperate, and you will all be safe.
Some of them, some of them they kind of like. Obviously, a lot of them they're really kind of spooked that you just kind of pop in and obviously announce that you were part of the police and that they're under arrest. Some of them, comply, and then others, it's probably about out of like the 20 of them that are there, maybe about 5 of them are a bit more hostile and argumentative, they're more hostile. They really start kind of shouting at you that you know saying that you know, we should have the right to worship worship God or whatever, and just being non-cooperative generally.
I guess Ronald is going to have to probably ignore that, and he's just going to kind of re-announce that the building is surrounded. Please comply. Have a seat or probably get on the ground is probably the safer option, I guess. So he'll announce that, especially to the more hostile gentleman.
All right, so
And I'll probably also radio that, anyone can start to, or we could use some, not backup, but, situation under control. And I'll announce there's probably like 20 people, 20 individuals. We might need more squad cars. That kind of lingo.
all right. So let's see. Let me pull up some of my. And so, out of like some of the ones that are a lot more argumentative, they start saying things about like saying something like we know you organized like that attack on the the uh, the some sort of like attack on like some sort of a commercial building. It's like I heard that on the Truth Crusade, or other things like we know that you're you know increasing the cost of living. Like, so where did I see increasing the cost of living and increasing the minimum wage, and claiming that they're helping like the poor people, and a bunch of like weird like they're accusing you guys of like, not necessarily you guys, but more or less like the party of like different like weird like things. And they say like, yeah, I heard it on like the Truth Crusade. Alec Johns tells the truth. He was right about it all along.
Listen, I'm not sure what you folks are talking about, but you have broken the law. There's a lot of, different information type battles or wars that we need to kind of clear up. So we will get you guys the help that you deserve. But again, it's not me as a person. I'm just trying to do my job here.
All right. So after you kind after a while, like a few of the regular police, members of the regular police force come in. They handcuff everybody, and are particularly, you know, you know, not so gentle with the more hostile members, and I mean, they're still handling them all pretty rough because they broke a major law, but those who are resisting, they are treating especially bad. So, you know, obviously more people are, you know, more policemen come in and so that they can, arrest all the members of the congregation. They arrest the pastor, the reverend, as stated before, Mr. John Dacre, and they're brought back down. They're brought back to the station for further questioning and interrogation and whatever justice that they're given, probably execution or imprisonment or so. Obviously, you take two of the members of the congregation. They're some of the more they were some of the more passive ones in your vehicles. Some of them are kind of just kind of hanging their heads low. Others are kind of like saying like quiet prayers and whatnot. And so now you've successfully you know you've successfully executed your first assignment on as part of your new job or your new position. What's going through everybody's heads at the moment? Like now that you know.
Ronald's a little surprised. He's probably seen little bits and pieces of religious dissidence in his career, but nothing as big as this. So he's a little. There's been a lot of information, especially his mind for some reason just keeps going back to that weird color-coded events tables with that big event coming up in 2 weeks, and he's starting to have his suspicions a little more that it's not quite a happy event, especially because the color red usually isn't something that's it's a rather bold color. So with the things that have been the insults and information been hurled at him, he's probably a little questioning of his just his day in general. It's not what he expected.
Yeah. And what about Hector and Horace? How do they feel about this? Obviously they don't know.
Well,
obviously they don't know, or you guys don't know what Ronald knows about or thinks he knows about. But anyway, just like, how are you guys feeling now that you've successfully completed your mission?
well, Horace is pretty pleased, considering the fact that it's our first day on the job, and we just did a pretty big bust. But he is a little disappointed that he busted his face earlier. So, but it's outweighed by the glory of this mission.
All right. So once you bring back your part of the congregation back to the station, the rest of your day goes by pretty uneventful, but obviously there's a little bit of a you know questioning like on you know there's a little bit of uncertainty for Mr. Springs here, but there's some he obviously he's kind of like gets the feeling there's something a bit more that he doesn't really know about, and I think right now is probably a good place to end the session. So yeah.
Yep, sounds good.
All right, so
Awesome.
I'm gonna stop the